What is going on, guys? Judo Sloth here, and welcome to the how-to guide for my BD DragLoon strategy at Town Hall 10. Now this strategy works at Town Hall 10 and 11. You can see that I don't have max baby dragons at Town Hall 10, so I'm going to upgrade them now. I will try and get you a guide on this at Town Hall 11, just discussing the differences with the Grand Warden, but all of the attacks you see here will be Town Hall 10 versus Town Hall 11, so we can touch upon the Eagle Artillery. And within the current meta, if you can 2-star Town Hall 11s and coordinate your war attacks better, then it will put your team in better stead. Now this strategy is great for island bases, 4-corner bases, but you can get it to work on a lot of other layouts as well. Just discussing composition first, you can see that I take 9 baby dragons, 6 dragons, 6 balloons, a lava hound and a balloon in the clan castle, a Zap Quake, 2 rage spells, a haste spell and a double poison. The only time I tend to adjust the composition are if I want to take some wall breakers for my heroes, and I tend to do that by dropping a balloon or 2, but obviously depending on the base you can adjust the strategy accordingly. Now, as with all of my strategy guides, I'm going to break things down into 5 steps so that you can absorb things easier and put it into your own gameplay. The first thing you want to look for when you're scouting for the BD DragLoon is which air defense you're going to Zap Quake. Now I'm going to take the one on the west in this base, and that's because there's more cannons in this area. I'm going to use my baby dragons to funnel this side, whilst my heroes can funnel at the other side and they won't be under as much fire. Now I should have said as well, the Town Hall being on this side of the core makes it the obvious choice to come in from the northwest side, but you do have to bear in mind the air sweepers. Once the baby dragons have created a funnel to the west, I'll use the heroes to create a funnel to the north, and then my DragLoon portion can come forward towards the Town Hall in the centre. So with the basics of the strategy explained, let's go into the first attack and the 5 steps, and we can go into more detail as we go along. Step 1 is to Zap Quake the desired air defense. In this replay we managed to get a little bit of extra damage on the archer tower, but in some of the replays coming up you will see examples of how you can really utilise that Zap Quake. Step 2 is to deploy the baby dragons to create a funnel on this portion of the map. Now it is very important that you're patient at this stage. Deploy the baby dragons onto the defences first. Really target them defences so that they can then have a lot more time and they're not taking as much damage, taking out the other buildings. If you're going to get a lot of benefit out of it, you can sneak the odd balloon in towards the defence as the baby dragons are distracting it. This one's a bit of a poor example, much better ones coming up. Try to save your balloons for the core if possible, and when you're attacking Town Hall 11s, you do have to take into consideration that Eagle Artillery as well. It will activate after 180 housing spaces used. Now with your Zap Quake, that is 25, each hero is 25, that's 75, and your 9 baby dragons is 165. Therefore you can use 2 balloons in order to help with the funnel to sneak in and get them defences, but once you deploy the 3rd balloon, the Eagle Artillery will activate, so you have to take that into account, but we will discuss that further in some of the replays coming up. Step 3 is to deploy your heroes to create the funnel on the opposite end of the map. Now try and save at least 1 baby dragon to help you at this stage, just to steer the heroes in the correct direction, but don't overkill it at step 2 when you're using the baby dragons to create the funnel. Once that funnel is created, save the rest of the baby dragons. You can use them to help set up the funnel at the other end of the map, and also you can use them at the end of the raid to help you pick up the 50%. Moving into step 4, where the action happens, the Eagle Artillery will activate as soon as you do this. Deploy the DragLoon portion. So you start out with your Lava Hound obviously, then your balloons to try and rush them forward to the defences, and followed by the dragons. Do take note of where you deploy them, because the line of buildings left up will be the trail that you follow into the core. So on this one, we had to deploy them in the north, they went through all of them buildings and then moved to the core. If we came further down and they went the opposite way through the buildings, there's a chance they could have gone around the base. Step 5, which has already happened, is the haste and rage spell deployments. So I used the haste spell initially to help push the balloons forward to the defences to try and get them down quickly, but also if your funnel's not quite perfect, they can take out some of the defensive buildings and steer the dragons in the correct direction. The first rage spell helps to get your dragons into the core, really power them forward to it, and the next one is used right smack bang over the core to get that down as quickly as possible. There you have it. Once you start them final stages and kickstart the action, things happen quickly. 2 stars, Town Hall 10 versus Town Hall 11 using the BD DragLoon strategy. You can adjust things here and there as we go, and we will be doing that in some of these replays coming up, but in general the strategy will be pretty much the same, following them 5 steps and making various little adjustments as we go. The other thing to understand is that as a Town Hall 10 versus a Town Hall 11, especially with these tricky layouts, it will be difficult. You won't get this to work every single time. It'll take some practice. I actually got a 49% 1-star against this base right before I got this replay, so I came at it again and then cracked it second time around. So step 1 has already taken place. You will note that on the earthquake portion of the Zap Quake, we managed to get some hit points, some valuable hit points off the Town Hall. Step 2 in deploying the baby dragons to create the funnel is already happening quite nicely down here to the south of the base. You can see the big funnel getting created next to the dark elixir storage and the expo. That is more than enough to allow my dragons to go right up into the core. By the way, I'm setting up the funnel to send my DragLoon in from the south because of the position of the Town Hall on this side of the core, and I use my baby dragons to create the funnel down on this side because of the direction of the air sweeper. Step 3, the heroes are deployed to create the funnel on this area of the map. I don't really need to use my baby dragons to help steer them in the right direction because they're not going to walk around. I know they're going to come straight in. I use one just to help get through them defences and save a little bit of health on the heroes, but I save the other in order to help with the 50%. Step 4, and I'm already bringing in the DragLoon portion. Now once that funnel is created, get the dragons and the balloons in. Try and save some health on your heroes if you can. They're going to come in and rush them defences, especially with the balloons. Get them down and hopefully help your heroes survive so that they can help you in order to pick up some more percentage. Step 5, and you might have noticed the staging of the spell deployment. Get that haste spell in. It helps to power the balloons forward whilst the Lava Hound is still tanking to try and get some of them defences down. The next rage spell helps to push the dragons and the balloons through that trail of buildings leading to the core. It's also very important because it helps push the balloons forward to take out the defences whilst the dragons are getting the other buildings, and that can help with the funnel and in this instance help to steer them into the core. The final rage spell then went in right over the core, really important because firstly it helps the dragons get that Town Hall down, and secondly it helps push them and the balloons. If you get the balloons to the core, honestly they wreck the defences in there. It helps the balloons and the dragons get them high hit point and high damage defences down. Sometimes your dragons can even get out the other end of the core to help with percentage, and again another nice 2-star. Moving on to this next base, if we first look at the air sweepers, if we were to Zap Quake this air defense to the west, that would be a nightmare for funneling with baby dragons due to the air sweeper. So we're going to take the one down on the south here and then focusing the baby dragons to create the funnel in towards the defenses first. So the archer towers there mainly and the wizard tower. We can then use the heroes on this other side. Very easy to steer them in the correct direction in order to take out some of the buildings here. If we get this air defense down, it's not a problem. There's 2 ways to look at it. You can either leave an air defense up and your Lava Hound will then go to it and tank for your DragLoons, or you can just take it down. As long as the funnel is created, the Lava Hound going through the area that you're sending the DragLoons, it's basically just to take out any of the air mines because the Eagle Artillery is going to lock straight onto it and take it out. It's basically there to cover that trail of buildings and take out any air traps. So the raid has started, but I thought it was important to cover that. If you want to leave an air defense up or take it down, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't affect my strategy too much. As long as I have the funnel, then the dragons and the loons will get through that air defense either way. The Zap Quake has taken place and the baby dragons are coming in to create the funnel down on the south. Notice how I'm trying to deploy them towards the archer tower here first and the defences, targeting them initially because then they can take out the other buildings a lot easier. Once you're satisfied with your funnel, you can then move across to the other side and start creating the funnel on that side, and then it will leave you with that trail of breadcrumbs in towards the centre. Don't overkill it with the funnel. It's really them island bases and the four corner bases where there's that big empty ring around the centre that you really need to nail your funnel. On bases like this, you can leave some buildings standing, as long as you know that your DragLoon portion will get through to that town hall. That's all that matters. Especially with them 2 rage spells, the dragons and the balloons really rip through buildings, so you can leave plenty of them standing as long as they're all sending them in that correct direction of the town hall. Step 4, and you can see the Lava Hound's worth straight away. 2 Seeking Air Mines headed straight for it. In come the DragLoons with the haste spell and the initial rage spell. You could see that trail of breadcrumbs where they were going to go, straight up towards the town hall. Rage spell over the top of it, and before you know it, it is down. We've got the 2-star and carrying on to build up the percent. Now we are facing that air sweeper a little bit. It's okay to kind of come in at 1, but I would never recommend coming straight in towards 2 air sweepers. You have to take them into consideration because they can wreck the raid. Really try your best to avoid them, but a lot of the time you can kind of get away by coming in towards 1, but you still need that funnel created perfectly. So I hope you're starting to grasp the different stages of the attack strategy now and the little tweaks that we can make within it. One thing that we haven't really touched on yet is luring the clan castle. Now I tend to take a double poison, and the reason for that is I can adapt the raid very easily depending on what comes out. If I lure it initially with the baby dragons, that's perfectly fine because they'll come across, and as I'm using the baby dragons to create the funnel, I can use the poison and know the clan castle's dealt with. If you know what's in there, and you know it's not going to be lured because if it's air troops, it's only going to be lured by the heroes. If your heroes aren't going near the clan castle, then you can swap the poison spells, take an extra rage, a freeze spell, earthquake spells, whatever you want. However, if I'm not sure what's in there, I do like to take the double poison because you can adapt it to any situation really, whether you lure the clan castle initially or lure it with the DragLoon attack. Some of you may have seen in the ground vs air live stream that on my second attack, the clan castle troops can really wreck the raid, especially if they get your dragons kind of hung up, but if you place them correctly, you can adapt to pretty much any situation. So that's my advice with the clan castle troops. Again, the double poison, and you can kind of just adapt it and wing it as you go. Once again, we've missed the start of the raid, but I thought it was important to touch on clan castle troops. If you're interested, just rewind back and see what happened. But basically, I used the baby dragons to funnel on the west because of the position of the air sweepers. I managed to get a bit damage on the town hall with the earthquake spell, and the baby dragons creating the funnel, I was targeting in towards the archer towers. Actually, there was a nice example of sneaking in a balloon to the archer tower to get it down quicker, save some health on your baby dragons. Heroes are coming in from the north. I did use wall breakers to help get them in. I thought the Archer Queen was going to get this air defense, but she decided to hit the wall. By the way, you might have noticed the clan castle kill as well. I know I was talking about leaving air defenses up before, but I actually wanted that one down because it's a key part of the funnel. I was worried that they were going to move from the expo across to that air defense, so I sent in an extra dragon in from the north to try and compensate that. Ended up getting me nothing, but when I was saying it's fine to leave an air defense up, I meant within the line of buildings that the dragon and the balloons are going straight through because they're going to get that straight down. So the air defense to the northwest that was within that line of buildings to the core, I wasn't concerned about because as you saw they took that straight down. The one to the northeast is obviously doing a massive amount of damage to my dragons. Now how crazy is this? Because I wanted to take a couple of wall breakers, I had some troop space left over, I took a minion and I scouted the base at the end there once I knew the percentage was tough, managed to find one building which it clutched, took out and got me the 2nd star. Now I know that raid wouldn't have been near as close, had my queen got the air defense as I anticipated, I wouldn't have had to send a dragon astray, I'd have had more to the core, and they wouldn't have been taking as much damage. And I don't know if you noticed, but I also had a baby dragon left over that could have helped me pick up the 50%. Now we'll make this one the final raid, otherwise we could just go on forever. Anything that you're struggling with that I haven't quite covered, drop them in the comments below, but here's where you have to adjust on the fly as well. This little Tesla farm pops up behind the Archer Tower. Now there is no way with them on this side that my baby dragons are going to be able to create the funnel. They're going to get taken straight out. So I decide to sacrifice all of my loons and my haste spell to get them down, and it works beautifully. Yes, you want to try and save them for the core, and one of the reasons I send them with the dragons is if there's single target infernos, they can tank for the drags as well, and with the rage spells they just wreck defenses. But ultimately, if you don't get that funnel and you can't get the dragons to the town hall, you're not getting it anyways, so you need to make adjustments. Sometimes I even use some of the dragons to help with the funnel. Here's an example where the clan castle has been lured. I'm being patient using the baby dragons in order to take them out inside that double poison spell. Now I haven't mentioned it up until this point actually, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Space the dragons out so that you're using that enraged bonus, and make note of the health bar. If it's getting low on health and the defense is about to take it out, you want the next one coming in so that it can reach the defense just as the one before it goes down, and you're not losing health on travel time. So with stage 2 complete and the funnel created on the east of the base, we're starting stage 3, creating the funnel down to the south here. Used a baby dragon to help steer the heroes in the correct direction. You'll see that since I decided to put a dragon in here to help with the funnel, the eagle artillery has already been activated. And again, using that dragon is just a case of kind of adjusting the strategy. The stages are still the same, it's just that I noticed my heroes were struggling. Ultimately you need that funnel, so I decided to use the dragon to help. You can see all of the buildings destroyed on the left and the right side of the base. The buildings left standing are going to draw my dragons and loons straight in towards the town hall. Initial rage spell helps to push them through all of these buildings, and then the final one is used to help them get that town hall down. Again, second star achieved, Town Hall 10 versus Town Hall 11, and that is the Baby Dragon DragLoon attack strategy. So I hope that guide was helpful for you. Please leave any further tips you have or questions in the comment section below, and also please just share any successes you have with this. Comment with the hashtag BD DragLoon if you made it right to the end of this video. I've been your host Judo Sloth. Make sure to subscribe for lots more Clash of Clans guides, and until next time, peace out guys. Stay tuned for more Clash of Clans.